that you can learn a little bit from our presentation. And we will just jump right into things. At the end of the presentation, you will have the opportunity to ask us any questions. You can also use the Q&A and chat feature at the bottom of your screen to send us in anytime. And then at the end of the presentation, you will be directed to a survey, and we would really appreciate if you could fill that survey out for us as we are continuing this webinar series, and we want to make sure that we are improving and are able to answer all of your questions. And then one more thing before we get going, throughout the presentation, Joe is going to pull up some poll questions, and it'd be really beneficial to us, again, if you could answer those. Your answers are confidential, so don't be nervous or shy about answering those. So like I said, we're going to jump right into it, and we will get going.
One more thing regarding questions really quick. If you send in a question with using the Q&A option, it does show up for everyone. You can send them anonymously. But if you have a specific question that you want one of us to answer, you can also use the chat feature, which that one gives you a little bit more of a private response.
All right, and we'll pass it over to Stephanie, and she'll get us started today.
All right, thanks, Casey. So hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Blank, and the photos that you currently see on the screen, the first one would be my husband and I. Those are one of our engagement photos. He is from Chicago, loves Chicago, so that's actually under the L. And then the two other photos are pictures of our son, Malcolm. He is coming up on 9 months old, and being a new mom, it's hard for me to choose just one photo. So my role here, along with my coworkers, would be a coordinator of new student enrollment. So we're here to help answer any questions or concerns that may come up in terms of registering for classes and reviewing different details about the programs that you may be interested in. And now my personal experience with Rock Valley, I had actually gotten started while I was still at Harlem High School. I was taking what's called dual credit classes. And from there, I went to Rock Valley for my first year, completed some of my general education courses, and then used those classes to transfer out to Loyola University, Chicago. And that's where I had earned my Bachelor of Science. And thank you very much. I'll pass it to Mercedes.
Hey everyone, I'm Mercedes. Just as Stephanie had said, I'm a coordinator of new student enrollment as well. I graduated from Harlem High School in 2013, and then I went to Rock Valley for a year and a half. After I went to Rock Valley for a year and a half, I then transferred to Western Illinois University to get my bachelor's in communication and my minor in public administration, and then I went back for another 2 years to receive my master's in communication with a focus on organizational, rhetorical, and political communication. A fun fact about me is that I eat in my sleep. It's a skill. And also out of grad school came a fun hobby of vlogging. So now I will pass it on to Casey.
Thanks, Mercedes. So my name is Casey Hauser. I am also a coordinator of new student enrollment at Rock Valley College. I graduated from Belvedere North High School, so I am familiar with the Rockford area. And then a fun fact about me is that I was actually able to graduate with my bachelor's degree in 3 years thanks to RVC. So I did a little bit of a non-traditional route and decided to graduate high school a semester early and then jump right into my college career at RVC. And then in between my undergrad years, I would come back for summers and take summer classes that transferred to Illinois State. So after that first semester at RVC, I transferred to ISU as a full-time student. I obtained my bachelor's degree in organizational and leadership communication. And then I decided to stay and obtain my master's degree in health communication. And like I said, I have taken various different courses at Rock Valley College during my summer semesters. If you look at my pictures there, in the top right is a picture of me with my dog Lemon. And then in the bottom left, we recently adopted our black lab puppy. Her name is Mila. And then in the far left is just a picture of my little family when we graduated. And now Joe's going to bring up the first poll for you all, so please take your time and answer that.
All right, so everyone should see on their screen. First question is, which best describes you? Is it a recent high school graduate, a parent of a future RVC student, a parent of a current RVC student, a community member seeking out information, an adult learner, non-traditional student, or other? And how did you hear about this RVC admissions information session? Was it from a high school counselor or an instructor, word of mouth, the RVC website, a family member, social media, a friend, a student referral, or one of our RVC emails? Just give everybody a moment to answer those, and then we can head back. All right, so I will end the poll now and pass it back to Casey.
Thank you, Joe. So as I mentioned earlier, today you're going to get a nice overview of some RVC information. We're going to go into more detail about the admissions process and the different degree and certificate paths that we offer. We're also going to give you some more information about tuition and financial aid, scholarships, our campus life, and then you'll have the opportunity to ask any questions at the end. So first, what is Rock Valley College? We are a 2-year community college located in Rockford, Illinois. This means we offer more than 100 different courses for transfer, career, and certificate programs. So we do help a wide variety of students. So if you are a student who maybe just graduated high school and wants to get started at RVC prior to going to a 4-year university, we can help get those first 2 years of classes under your belt. If you're someone who maybe took some time off from school and are thinking of a career change or want to enhance any current skills that you have, we have classes to help those needs as well. And then if you're a student who maybe doesn't want to get that 4-year or even that 2-year degree, we have various different certificate programs that you can earn in a shorter amount of time so that you're ready to jump into the workforce. When we talk about tuition, we'll talk about in-district and out-of-district tuition a little bit. So our in-district tuition rate covers all of Winnebago County, most of Boone County, portions of Ogle, Stevenson, McHenry, and DeKalb counties. And then currently we have an interim president, and her name is Beth Young. So Rock Valley College actually has multiple locations around the Rockford area. So the one that would probably come to your mind first is our RVC main campus. This is our largest campus. It's located on Mulford Road, and this is where a majority of our classes are held. If you were watching the virtual tour at the beginning, that was the campus that we were showing there. And again, this is where most of those English, math, science, biology courses are. We also have our Stenstrom Center. So a little bit ago, I mentioned how we have some of those certificate and career programs. A couple of those are welding and automotive and even truck driving. So if you're interested in one of those programs, your classes would be held at the Stenstrom Center, which is located right next to Jefferson High School. And then next we have our Aviation Career Education Center. So we have a whole program that we will talk about in just a little while that is all about aircrafts, how to put them together, how to take them apart, how to paint them. And that's located right next to the Rockford Airport. And then last but not least is our RVC downtown location. So if you're familiar with the old Rockford Register Star building, or you've ever been to the Rockford City Market, our building is right across the street. And down here we have some more of those general education classes, so like your math, your English, and then we also have classes down there for students who might be learning English as a second language. So steps for admission. So our first step is to complete our RVC application. Since the college is closed, the best way to do this is online. If you go to our main website, you're gonna see a yellow bar at the top of your screen. If you look at the far right, it's gonna say apply. If you click this link, it's gonna take you to the application, and then you'll be able to fill that out. The second is to apply for financial aid, and we're gonna get into more detail about financial aid specifics in just a couple of slides. The third step is to determine your placement. So if, again, you are a student who maybe just recently graduated high school, the first thing we're gonna wanna do is look at your transcripts, and if you took the SAT or the ACT. If you were a student who maybe didn't take one of those tests, or maybe it's been a little bit since you've taken those tests, we would typically have you take our AccuPlace replacement exam. Since the college is currently closed, we're having students fill out what we call a deferral form. This form will allow you to register for classes for your fall semester without having to take those placement requirements, and then you meet with one of us or an academic advisor to talk about what a good starting point is for you to make sure that you're in the right classes for that first semester. And then again, fourth is to visit with either our team here or one of our transfer and advising advisors. And then the fifth step is going to be to register and pay for your tuition. And then I'm going to pass it on to Joe.
Thank you, Casey. So as Casey said, my name's Joe. The pictures I have here are me and my fiance, Nina, on the right. And then on the bottom is me and our 2 dogs, Roxy and Zeus, that you may see in the background from time to time too. They're both pretty tired right now, so I'm just going to let them sleep. Like everyone else on my team here, I'm a coordinator of new student enrollment. I'm also the only one here who's not from the Rockford or Illinois area. I actually grew up in Michigan from a small town called Colon, and that's where I graduated from high school. And a fun fact about me is that I have no sense of smell. When I went to college, I actually went for digital filmmaking and video production when I got my bachelor's degree. But before that, when I was still in Michigan, I actually went to a community college there and got a certificate in microcomputer applications certifications. So that was, I started at a community college as well, and then eventually went on and transferred to a 4-year. So like Casey had mentioned before, the different degree paths we offer, we have our transfer degrees, which are Associate of Arts, Associate of Science, and Engineering Science. And those degrees are made to primarily get you your general education classes knocked out and then help you transfer to a 4-year college to really focus more on what you ultimately want to major in. We also have our Associate in Applied Science degrees, and those are 2-year degrees that don't always have the same amount of transferability. They're more limited in that case. A lot of the times they'll have certificates built into them as well that you earn along with the degree, but they're more focused on a particular programs to get you more hands-on experience and get you into the workforce a little sooner. And then, like we said too, the certificate programs, some programs like welding is one that's just a certificate only. But then there's other programs like the automotive program, which is technically an Associate of Applied Science degree, but it has a lot of certificates built into it. So you can either go for just the certificates, or you can ultimately go for the degree as well and get both of those. When it comes to the transfer degree courses, those general education areas are going to focus in a few areas. One of them is going to be your communications, which is going to be like your English classes and a speech class. You're going to have your humanities and fine arts. They're going to be more like literature, philosophy, and some like art appreciation courses. Social and behavioral sciences are going to be primarily history, psychology, sociology, political science, or economics and anthropology. Life and physical sciences are going to be like your biologies and your chemistry classes. Math is going to be your math classes. And then non-Western culture is going to be a class that comes from either your humanities and fine arts or your social sciences. And that's going to be a course that doesn't count as it's going to count for that area, but also include like from a non-Western culture. So a lot of our history classes cover that, like history of the Middle East or history of Latin America. So they count for 2 different areas on your degree. And then we also have our elective section. That's where you're able to either focus on what you ultimately want to major in, like maybe criminal justice classes, could be like those actual, you could even take welding classes as part of a transfer degree, or you can experiment with a lot of other classes if you're not quite sure what you want to major in. So that's where you can have a lot more fun with that, branching out. With our Associate of Applied Science degrees, those are those career and technical options. And some of those that we have in our health field area are going to be our respiratory care program. So that's where students get to learn how to assist individuals that are having breathing issues. We have our dental hygiene program where students actually learn how to be a dental hygienist. We have an actual dental hygiene office set up in our health science center, and students not only get to practice on each other, but anybody from the community can actually pay to come in and be a patient there. So it's going to be more affordable than going to a normal dentist, but it's going to take a little longer because just how the way they take their time cleaning your teeth that way. But that is something that anybody in the community can pay to do. We also have our EMT program, and this is a 1-semester course that earns you certification to learn how to be an EMT, and it's also part of our Fire Science Associate of Applied Science degree. So you can either go for just the certificate, or you can go for that Fire Science degree as well. This is actually from the EMT lab in our health science center, the picture that's on screen, and it's a full-size mock-up of an ambulance. So students get to see all the equipment that would be in there and do different demonstrations with the mannequins that we have. We also have our surgical technician program, which is a program that's just a certification, so you don't have to get an entire degree for it. But students get to learn all the different tools that would be used in an operating room. They learn how to clean them when they're properly needed by the surgeon, and what each of the tools do in that case too. And then we also have our RN, our CNA, and our phlebotomy technician programs as well. The phlebotomy technician is just a certificate program. The CNA course is a 1-semester certification class that you can go for. And then if you want to continue further for your RN, you can take some more prerequisites and apply for the nursing program to get your Associate of Applied Science in Nursing and become a registered nurse. Some of the career and technical options we have that are outside of the health field are welding, like we mentioned before. So that's just a certificate program, so you don't have to get an entire degree for it. We also have that automotive service and maintenance technology program I mentioned. So this one has a lot of certificates in it, or you can go for the certificates and the degree ultimately. And then the program that Casey mentioned earlier, the aviation maintenance program, this is a picture from our hangar out there on the Rockford Airport. So students get, like she said, students get to learn how to work and disassemble different parts of the airplane and reassemble them. Get to paint a wing of the plane as one of the projects to learn plane painting as well. But they get a lot of hands-on experience with actual planes in our hangar there. As far as the transfer degrees, just about any major you can think of, if you know you want to transfer ultimately to get a bachelor's degree or further, can fall under either the Associate of Science or the Associate of Arts degree. The Associate of Science degree is going to be stuff that focuses more on like maybe pre-med, biology, chemistry, more of the actual science fields. Just about everything else can fall into the Associate of Arts degree. So that could be criminal justice, could be teaching, could be actual illustration and arts and painting, or even social sciences or psychology. So whatever you're thinking of going for, you can talk with us and we can help get you on the right path. But also, if you're not entirely sure what you want to major in, that's okay too, because you can change your mind while you're going through it. The good thing about both of these transfer degrees is that those areas that I mentioned before, that are communications, humanities, and fine arts, and the rest, these all come from what's called the Illinois Articulation Initiative. And that's just a fancy way of saying that these classes are guaranteed to transfer to a four-year university in Illinois that is part of that agreement. It doesn't mean that if you were to go to a college that isn't part of that or is out of state that they wouldn't transfer. They just might transfer differently at that point. This list here on screen is the list of the colleges in Illinois that are part of that. So a lot of the big name colleges you can think of: NIU, Rockford University, ISU for some ones that are a little closer to home. So I can leave this up there for a moment if anybody wants to take a picture or a screenshot of it. And then on the top of that, as far as tuition goes for attending Rock Valley, our per credit tuition rate for in-district students is $115 per credit hour. On average, most of our classes are 3 credit hours, so they're about $345 before those additional books and class fees. And that might sound like a lot, but this graph actually breaks it down how much more affordable that price is compared to starting at a 4-year, where you would take the same exact classes in your first 2 years that you would need to do. If you do your first 2 years at Rock Valley College, you're going to spend under $10,000 over those 2 years. If you were to start at a public 4-year like NIU, you're going to spend over $25,000 in 2 years. And if you're supposed to start at a private 4-year like Rockford University, you're going to spend over $58,000 in 2 years. What those amounts don't take into account for the 4-year colleges, though, is the cost of living on campus, the cost of having a meal plan for living on campus, insurance for living on campus, a parking pass for being on their campuses. If you take those things into account, those numbers basically double over those 2 years. But at Rock Valley, our students don't live on campus. We don't have on-campus housing. They all commute to our campus from either their own home, living with roommates, living with their parents still. We don't have to worry about parking passes because we have a ton of parking around campus and it's all free. We don't have a meal plan that our students have to worry about. We have Papa John's and Subway on campus, as well as a lot of vending machines, but we're also close to a lot of restaurants in the area too. Or students are more than welcome to bring their own lunch too, because we do have a microwave in the student center if they want to come there and heat up their food. And then overall, that makes it much more affordable to start your first 2 years at Rock Valley in the long run. And now I'm going to pull up our second poll questions for the day. So the first one is going to be, can people from the community get their teeth cleaned by students in the dental hygiene program for a lower cost than going to the dentist? Yes or no? How many certificates can students earn within the Associate of Applied Science Automotive program? Is it 4, 5, 7, or 9? How much does it cost to complete an RVC application? Is it free, $5, $10, $15, or $50? True or false, the AA degree or Associate of Arts degree does not require science courses. And then if a student struggled academically in high school, are they still able to attend RVC? So give everybody a moment to answer those questions. All right, so I will end that now, and I will pass it on to Claudia.
Thank you, Joe. So as Joe mentioned, my name is Claudia Consuelos. I am also a coordinator of new student enrollments. I graduated from Boylan Catholic High School. And a fun fact about me is that I am a first-generation graduate. So that means I'm the first from my family to go to college and graduate from college. I started my college career at Rock Valley College. I was actually able to earn both my Associates of Arts and my Associates of Science. I took advantage of an exam called the CLEP exam, which gave me some credits for speaking Spanish, and then I also transferred all my AP credits to Rock Valley. After Rock Valley, I then went to Illinois State University, where I earned my Bachelor's of Science in Sociology and Pre-Med. So now you'll see a picture of me at the Rock Valley graduation, and then next to that is my graduation picture from ISU, and then on the bottom left is a picture of my family. I got married last September. So now we'll have another poll.
That one's coming up on your screen now, and is, have you filed the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA? Give everyone a moment to answer that one. All right, so I'll end that now and pass it back to you, Claudia.
Thank you, Joe. So let's talk about financial aid. So what is financial aid? Financial aid is any form of monetary aid that will help cover your college expenses. There's 4 different forms of financial aid. The first we'll talk about is grants. Grants normally mean free money. So when you receive a grant, normally you want to take that. There may be some criteria that you have to follow. So whichever grant you received, you just want to kind of take pay close attention to it to ensure that you are meeting that criteria. The next form of financial aid is scholarships. So we'll talk about Rock Valley scholarships in a moment, but normally scholarships, you do have to apply for them in separate applications, and there's a lot of different scholarships, so I'll go into more detail in a moment. The third form of financial aid is loans. So loans are money that you borrow and then eventually you have to pay back. Often loans may have what's called interest. So it's a rate of what you borrowed back accumulated. So that means that sometimes you will be paying back the loan a lot more than what you borrowed. The last form of financial aid is paid employment, otherwise known as student worker opportunities or working on our campus. And we can you can find all these applications on our website. So what is FAFSA? That is the poll that we asked you. So FAFSA, as Joe mentioned, is an application that you fill out to see if you're eligible for certain federal grants. FAFSA normally opens up on October 1st, and we strongly recommend filling it out as soon as it opens up. It does open up every year, and every year that you are intending to go to college, you do have to apply for it. We do help you fill out the FAFSA. We have FAFSA completion nights at Rock Valley that's open for all of our community, so you don't have to necessarily be a Rock Valley College student. Those FAFSA completion nights normally do happen during our fall semester, but if you need help, let's say today or tomorrow, you can always contact our financial aid department for assistance. And on the bottom of the screen, you can see their email, which is rvc-fia@rockvalleycollege.edu. And then their phone number is 815-921-4150. Since we are still working remotely, we do suggest to email them, as that's the fastest way of contact. But if you do call, just go ahead and leave a voicemail. So as I mentioned, Rock Valley does have a foundation, which we did award over $269,000 in scholarships last year. Our applications normally do open up around February of the previous academic school year. And then by May, you should receive either an email or a call, see if you received anything. So for this year, they did close already. They close normally back in May or in April or May. So we always encourage you to kind of keep an eye on those. You can find more information on our scholarships by going to www.rockvalleycollege.edu/scholarships. Next on your screen, you'll see a list of different scholarships search options. So a lot of these are search engines where you create a profile and then it matches you to different scholarships, or if not, it shows you a lot of different scholarships. I do want to point out that the ones with the little asterisk or the little star are scholarships open to everyone. Doesn't really matter your citizenship status. So you can take a picture of this if you want. They're also located on our scholarship page which was on the previous slide as well. And now we'll talk about the different student support services that are offered to you as a student. All of these are free, so I'm just going to go down and talk about a few of them. So academic and transfer advising are people you want to meet with before every registration. So the first year that you're with, or the first semester you're with us, you do meet with an coordinator of new student enrollment, as we will help you, guide you through the application process all the way through registration and show you different resources throughout the way. But after that, you do want to meet with an academic and transfer advising to ensure that the classes you're going to register for will count towards your graduation and will also transfer to your next destination. We also have career services, disability support services, so that this is for anyone that needs any form of accommodation, whether it's physical or mental. We also have, as I mentioned, financial aid. The Getting Started Center, they host your orientation, and on July 1st, they will tell you, if you go to their website, they will tell you when the orientation is. They also have what's called a peer mentors group. So if you do want to have a peer mentor, a lot of students benefit from this throughout their first semester to make sure that they transition to college as smooth as possible. We also have a library that you see a picture of on the right-hand side, and a bookstore, a personal and success counselor. We do have Student Life, which we'll talk about in a moment, our testing center, and finally our tutoring center. In regards to tutoring, we also have a math lab, so that's just specifically for your math courses, and we also have a writing center, so if you need anyone to proofread your papers or help you with any of your English classes, that's who you would go to. And again, all of these services are free to all of our students. So as I mentioned, we do also have a very interactive student life. We have over 35 student-led organizations. If there is an organization that you want to start and it's not on that list, you are more than welcome to start it. We can talk to one of us and we can kind of get you on the right path. We also have a student government association. This is very similar to in high school, a student council where you have a president, vice presidents. The unique thing about college is that there is a position called the student trustee, which actually sits on the board of trustees, and then they influence different decisions that will impact students. We also have a variety of sports. Our varsity sports co-ed is bowling, but then we also have men's basketball, baseball, and soccer. And then we also have our women's basketball, softball, soccer, and volleyball. On the top right, you may see one of our biggest events on our campus is called a stress-free day, where we have a lot of different activities for all of our students to ensure that they just kind of de-stress and have fun before finals or midterms. And then on the bottom right-hand side, you'll see a picture of our softball team. This was taken after they won their 6th consecutive championship. So our sports are very competitive, and you may see them a lot of times on the news because we are very recognized as well. So we'll go ahead and do another poll.
All right, and that one is coming up now. It's who can you contact with questions about registering for classes? Is it enrollment coordinators, academic advisors, both, or neither? Are you interested in student worker opportunities? Yes or no? And then are all of the Rock Valley student services that Claudia mentioned free for RVC students? Yes or no? Does Rock Valley College help students transfer to other colleges and universities? Yes or no? And are you interested in being involved in student activities? Yes or no? Just leave that up there for a moment longer. All right, so I will end that now.
Thank you, Jill. And now we'll pass it to Casey.
Thanks, Claudia. So I know today we've already gone over quite a bit of information, but we want to talk about why picking RVC after everything that you've gotten today. So the first one I want to touch on is our average class size. So our classes have an average of 24 students. So for those of you who may be just coming from high school, this is probably kind of what you're similar to in the classroom. If you're someone who's returning to school, 24 is a pretty good number. It's not an overwhelming number of people in your class, and it allows you to build those relationships with not only your peers, but also your instructors. The next thing I want to talk about is our diverse experience on our campus. So we have a very diverse faculty and staff members, as well as we have a diverse population within our students and our club organizations. We have students from all over the world who actually come and study abroad at RVC. So like a four-year, you're still getting to interact with a bunch of different people and learn different mindsets. And then next is our respected and accomplished faculty. So at a four-year institution, your gen ed classes might be taught by a graduate student who's in the process of getting their master's degree. Where at RVC, all of our classes are taught by someone who has a master's degree, if not higher in that field of study. If you're someone who wants to go into one of our technical programs, such as welding or respiratory care or EMT, those professors have experience in the workforce. So not only does this help you learn the skills that you're hopefully learning in those classes, but it also helps with different networking opportunities once you have completed that program. And then again, thinking back to that graph that Joe mentioned, the tuition cost between RVC and a four-year institution is huge. It's a great way to get the same 2 first years of classes out of the way at a much more cost-efficient price, and then we help you with that transfer process. Next on your screen, you're going to see our RVC social media handles. So the biggest one I want to point out is, yes, we do have our Rock Valley College Facebook page, which we encourage you to join. But new this year is our Rock Valley College RVC Incoming Students 2020 group. If you're someone who's going to be joining us either this summer or this fall semester, this is a great group to join. A lot of students ask questions on there about computers and how to get Office 365 on your computer and any other question that you can think of. And we're there to help and support you to make sure that you're all ready to go for that fall semester. And then we also have our Instagram and our Twitter that we encourage you to follow. And then as of right now, with the college being closed, things are updating often. So if you have questions on how the college is moving forward in regards to COVID-19, I encourage you to click the link on the bottom and it will take you to our website. And that has our most up-to-date information so that you know what's going on around campus. And now you have the opportunity to ask any questions. We encourage you to ask anything that you can think of from the entire presentation. Again, if you scroll either on your phone or if you're on a computer, towards the bottom, like Claudia mentioned, you have that Q&A and that chat option. So if you want to send a more personal or anonymous, you can send it in the chat, or you can just do the Q&A and we'll take turns answering those questions. And then Joe, could you go to the next slide, please, so that we can see our contact information?
Absolutely.
All right, and then all of us are kind of divided amongst the Rockford area high schools. So we're gonna just kind of go down the list and talk about which kind of students that we help while you guys are able to type out your questions for us.
Thanks, Casey. And just to kind of go through for me specifically, again, my name is Stephanie. So I work directly with different corporations, GED students, social service agencies, the Elevate program, and people who are considered maybe non-traditional students. So somebody who may have been working for a few years and then coming back to go to college. I also work with homeschool students. And then as for high schools, the only high school I work with in the area would be Auburn. So if you feel that you fit into any of those categories, feel free to send me an email and I can help answer any questions and move forward with registration. And then I will pass that to Claudia.
Thank you, Stephanie. So as I introduce myself again, my name is Claudia Consuelos. I do oversee students from Belvedere High School, Belvedere North, Boylan, Guilford, North Boone, Rockford Lutheran, and all 4 locations of Star Schools. In addition, I am also bilingual. So if you sometimes students want to have appointments with parents and want it to be in Spanish, please feel free to reach out to me. I am more than happy to do that for you guys. And now I'll pass it to Casey.
Thank you. And again, my name is Casey Hauser. I am the main point of contact for any student from any high school who's interested in our aviation maintenance program. So if you have any questions on this, please email me and I can give you some more information on that. I also help students from Byron, Christian Life, Harlem, Keith Country Day School, Legacy Academy of Excellence, Oregon, Pecatonica, Stillman Valley, and Winnebago. And then I'll pass it to Mercedes.
Hi everyone, I'm Mercedes Joyner. I work with the corporations in the community, East High School, GED students, the social service agencies in the area, Rockford Christian, and non-traditional students as well. My email is below, so if you happen to fall into one of those categories, just email me, and I'll pass it to Joe.
Thanks, Mercedes. Like I said, my name's Joe. The students I help out are from Durand, Jefferson, Hononegah, Roosevelt, South Boyd, and then Ombudsman or the Innovative Learning Center, depending on how you know it.
And then if you're a student who maybe doesn't fall into any of those categories, just pick your favorite person and send us an email and we're more than happy to help you out. But it does look like we got some questions. So let's see. The first one says, oh, Joe answered that one. Sorry, Joe. The first one says, has RVC decided if fall classes will be on campus or not? So yesterday we did send out an announcement that you can see on our Facebook page. And this just informs students that we are moving forward in doing some in-person and some online components. So depending on what kind of classes that you're taking, for example, if they have labs, some of those might be in person, some of them might have been moved to online. By the end of this week, your class schedule should reflect these changes. So if you log into your My RVC account and include your class schedule and textbook list, you'll be able to see if your classes were moved online or if they stayed in person. And then if you have any questions or need to make any schedule adjustments due to maybe being moved online, please reach out to one of us coordinators and we can help you make any changes that are necessary to that schedule. And then I think that's all of the questions right now. Does anybody else have any that they want to type in last minute? That was a good question about fall because I know that it's kind of been discussed a lot, but we just want to make sure that we're putting the safety of our students first. So thank you for asking that.
I can ask one of you a question that I've been receiving often is, when can I register for fall?
Today.
Right now.
Now.
You have all the way until the middle of August to register for classes. So our first day of class is August 17th. And that entire first week, we actually allow schedule adjustments. So you have a bit of time to get your ducks in a row, but the sooner that you do pick those classes, the sooner you have more pick of like your times and your teachers and the schedule that works best for you. Great.
And to add to that, I know it's a little bit different than in high school, but normally with us, there is a registration day where registration opens up. And then from that day on, that's when students can register. So fall registration actually opened up back in April, right? Was it May? April?
April, I think.
It's been a while. So as Casey mentioned, if you want to get the best schedule, ensure that you are getting into all the classes that you want, it is better to register sooner than later because classes may fill up. So to ensure that you get into the classes you want, we do encourage you to reach out to one of us as soon as possible and set up that appointment, and we can help you through it all.
All right, well, since no more questions have come through, I think we're gonna wrap it up for the day. Again, thank you everybody who attended. I know we can't see you, but we're really happy that you were able to join us. We hope that we were able to answer some of the questions that you have, and now that you have a direct contact to stay in touch with to make sure that your transition to RVC is a smooth one. So please feel free to reach out to us via email with any questions or concerns that you have, and we will be able to assist you. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And again, please don't forget to fill out the survey at the end. Thanks, everyone.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.